What if the infamous haunted Annabelle doll isn't really a demon as Ed and Lorraine Warren claimed it to be? What if the Annabelle doll really is a little girl? Today, I'm going to dig into the original case file from the Warren's Occult website backing up evidence that Annabelle is actually a little girl. So I had originally gotten this idea to do this YouTube video from another paranormal investigator here on YouTube, Paranormal Teach. I will link her in the bio below. And she had also looked into the original case file to give evidence that Annabelle really actually isn't evil, and most likely she's actually just a little girl. So I had gotten this Annabelle prop from the Etsy store, The Occult Collector on Etsy. I will also link that store down below. Look at how cute this is. It's a miniature little prop. It comes with a little Bible, holy water, and there is a little rosary right there. It's a little hidden. Also, the seller included Annabelle stickers as well. Look at that. That is so cute. I love this one. Look at this one. So this is the real actual Annabelle case file that I got on the website, the New England Society for Psychic Research, from Ed and Lorraine Warren's research website thing. I will link that also in the description below. So the origin. In 1970, a mother purchased an antique Raggedy Ann doll from a hobby store. The doll had been a birthday present for her daughter, Donna, and Donna was preparing to graduate from a college with a nursing degree, and she lived in a tiny apartment with her roommate, Angie, who was also pleased with the cute Raggedy Ann doll. Donna placed it on her bed as a decoration and didn't give it a second thought. Within days, both Donna and Angie noticed that there appeared to be something very strange and creepy about the doll. The doll mysteriously seemed to move about the house, relatively small movements at first. Donna and Angie would come home to find the doll in a completely different room. Sometimes the doll would be found with legs crossed, arms folded. Other times it would be found upright, standing on his feet. Several times, Donna sometimes left the doll on the couch before leaving for work and would return to find the doll back in her room on the bed with the door closed. Some background information on this as well. So I had done a little research, and the nurse who had originally owned the doll, she lived in East Hartford, Connecticut, and this was bought from a hobby store in East Hartford. Around this time was the Satanic Panic. Already circulating around the news and media was stories of haunted dolls, satanic cults. Asian philosophies were becoming more popular in the USA for the very first time. There were stories of child abuse and blood rituals and cannibalism, and movies such as Rosemary's Baby that came out in 1968, The Exorcist in 1973, and The Omen in 1976. So around this time, there was already circulating in the media and the news about satanic things, which was in the back of the mind of many people. Just taking note that so far, the Annabelle doll is showing a lot of poltergeist activity. It's moving its limbs, moving from room to room. These kinetic abilities can be quite limited in human spirits, but there can be exceptions. I know as a haunted doll collector so far, I have a lot of human spirits. And human spirits, they need a lot of energy to move. I've seen them move very, very, very subtly, but they can move. It's possible that the Annabelle doll does have a human spirit within it, a little girl, but these type of kinetic abilities are pretty rare for a human spirit. The Annabelle doll not only moved but could write as well. About a month into their experiences, Donna and Angie began to find messages on parchment paper that read, "Help us" and "Help Lou." the handwriting as if written by a small child. The creepy part about the messages was not the wording, but the way they were written. At the time, Donna had never kept parchment paper on which notes were written in the house, so where did they come from? Some notes about this is, so far, there's no evil actions. So far, it's just moving around the house, moving its limbs, and help us and help Lou. The word help implies a sense of friendliness and concern, like help Lou, help us. And I also noted the handwriting as if written by a small child, that could the childlike writing just be a spirit messily trying to maneuver a pen or pencil? The part where Donna had never kept parchment paper in the house, so where did this come from? This is actually a real term called apportation. And if I can find my notes on that, an apportation or an apportation. So an apport refers to an object that seemingly appears out of nowhere during a seance, ritual, or haunting, i.e. a spirit or non-physical force transported into the location via paranormal means. So while creepy that the doll is transporting items into the household that have originally not been in the household, kind of creepy, kind of weird, but in itself is not actually evil. One night, Donna came home to find the doll had moved again, and a sense of fear came over her when she inspected the doll and saw what looked like blood drops on the back of its hands and chest. Seemingly from nowhere, a liquidy red substance had appeared on the doll. Scared and desperate, Donna and Angie decided it was time to seek advice. I had noted that how does she know for sure, 100% sure, that this was blood? Because blood has a smell, a certain smell and a texture, and when it dries, it turned brown. So how do we know it was something else besides blood? It just says a red liquidy substance. Was it ketchup? Was it marker stains? Had the doll gotten a hold of a red marker and was just coloring on itself? We don't know. This doesn't necessarily mean that the red liquidy substance on the doll was actually blood. So not knowing where to turn, they contacted a medium and a seance was held, and this was when the medium introduced the spirit of Annabelle Higgins. The medium related the story of Annabelle to both Donna and Angie. Annabelle was a young girl that resided on the property before the apartments were built. She was a young girl of only 7 years old when her lifeless body was found in the fields upon which the apartment complex now stands. Some weird discrepancies about this. In other interviews, the young girl of Annabelle supposedly died in a car crash. So it's weird that also this mentions that she just happened to be a spirit who died around the apartment complex in the area where Donna and Angie had lived. How is that possible? How does that work? It sounds like when the doll was brought home, the spirit then inhabited the doll, or did the hobby store report any abnormal circumstances while the doll was there? So, and I do have another additional note about that. In 1971, a reporter wrote in the Connecticut Sunday Herald in an article, Raggedy Ann put hex on 3. Jill Amadio, the author of this article, originally had written that the owner had the doll for a few years before the doll started showing paranormal activity in the last year of having it. However, in the original case file, it literally says within days, both Donna and Angie noticed that there appeared to be something very strange and creepy of the doll. Within days. So it sounds like Ed and Lorraine Warren are embellishing the details to make it more scary. The original quote in the article from the original owner states that I had a life-size Raggedy Ann doll my mother had given me a couple years ago. And it started to move about a year ago after we moved in. So, why are these details embellished? Moving on. The spirit related to the medium that she felt comfort with Donna and Angie and wanted to stay with them and be loved. Feeling compassion for Annabelle and her story, Donna gave her permission to inhabit the doll and stay with them. So, a few key words so far. Comfort, to be loved, feeling compassion. These are very loving words. Nothing so far is very concerning about this. So the next part of the story is when things take a turn with the haunted Annabelle doll. This is Lou's account. So Lou was friends with Donna and Angie and had been with them since the day the doll arrived. Lou had never been fond of the doll and on several occasions warned Donna that it was evil and to get rid of it. And Donna had compassionate ties to the doll and was not giving much credence to Lou's feelings on it. So far, we know that Lou does not like the doll. He does not like the paranormal. He finds it weird and creepy that Donna and Angie are babying this doll and treating it like a sweet innocent little girl like it is. And Lou is like, y'all crazy. So one night, once again, Lou went to sleep and he had a recurring bad dream. Only this time, somehow, something seemed different. It was as though he was awake but couldn't move. So sounds like sleep paralysis. He looked around the room but couldn't discern anything out of the ordinary, and then it happened. Looking down towards his feet, he saw the doll, Annabelle. It began to slowly glide up his leg, moved over his chest, and then stopped. Within seconds, the doll was strangling him. Paralyzed and gasping for breath, Lou, at the point of asphyxiation, blacked out. Lou awoke the next morning certain it wasn't a dream. Honestly, it sounds like this was a dream. He says he had recurring bad dreams. So it doesn't specify whether Lou started having these dreams once the doll was brought into the house or if these recurring dreams started before. So it just honestly sounds like recurring bad dreams mixed with sleep paralysis, exacerbated by fear and paranoia about this doll in general. So back in my trauma era, I had pretty visceral nightmares that felt really real. I could feel, in some dreams you can feel some sensations. So I'm not saying that these visceral nightmares back in our trauma era were actually demons. It certainly felt like this, but most likely they were just dreams. They felt real though. They felt definitely real, but there's no actual proof that Annabelle was actually attacking him. You can't really prove something like that. And it does honestly sound like he was just having a bad dream, exacerbated by the fear that he already has. So one day they were just chilling in the apartment and the apartment seemed eerily quiet, but it sounded like an intruder was in the apartment somehow. They heard rustling and this aroused fear. So Lou got up and he made his way to the bedroom door. He waited for the noises to stop before entering and turning on the light. The room was empty except for Annabelle, who was tossed on the floor in the corner. He felt like someone was watching him, so he spun around and he quickly realized that nobody else was actually there. But then in a flash, he found himself grabbing his chest, doubled over, cut and bleeding. His shirt was stained with blood, and upon opening his shirt, there on his chest were 7 distinct claw marks. 3 vertical, and 4 horizontal. These scratches healed almost immediately, half gone the next day, fully gone by day 2. So, first of all, That sounds like a huge embellishment, because the human body just cannot magically heal like that completely magically. It says magically within 2 days. Where's the proof? Did he keep the bloody shirts? There were cameras back then in the 70s. I mean, did anyone take pictures of these scratches or these shirts? I mean, it honestly sounds like this was made up for attention grabbing and making the story more fantastical and scary than it already is or should be. So at this point, the 3 roommates were like, okay, this is kind of weird. So at this point, after the scratching incident, Donna was finally willing to believe that the spirit in the house was not that of a young girl, but an inhuman and demonic in nature. So after Lou's experience, they started to seek real expert advice and contacted an Episcopal priest named Father Hegan. And Father Hegan felt it was a spiritual matter, and he contacted a higher authority in the church. He contacted Father Cook, who immediately contacted the Warrens. After speaking to Donna and Angie, the Warrens immediately, it literally says immediately, came to the conclusion that the doll itself was not in fact possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence. And they said that spirits do not possess an inanimate object like houses or toys, they possess people. First of all, Ed and Lorraine Warren are paranormal investigators. Even their website is called New England Society for Psychic Research. So it's a little fishy that the Warrens, after talking to the roommates for what, like an hour and a half, they immediately came to the conclusion that Annabelle the Haunted Doll is a demon. They didn't even do any investigations or research into this or gather proof or evidence. I mean, they're paranormal investigators. Okay, first of all, they had their museum since the 1950s and 1960s, so about 10 to 20 years before this case. So how are they going to say that spirits can't inhabit vessels or toys or houses when they literally have a museum full of objects and toys and whatnot with spirits in them? Lorraine Warren is documented as a trance medium and clairvoyant, but has a very religious point of view along with it. And much of her mediumship is framed in terms of spiritual warfare, so good versus evil, God versus demons, rather than solely psychic abilities and psychic powers. So her son-in-law, Tony Spera, also a paranormal researcher, said of Lorraine, that she sees them, spirits, physically. When she walks into a home, she can tell by that her supernatural ability that she has that there actually is a spirit in the room. So why didn't Lorraine Warren actually investigate the doll when she was there to back up the claims from the original medium that said the doll has a spirit of a young girl within it? So here's also a quote from Ed Warren about having evidence of the doll but then not having it at the same time. So Ed Warren stated in an interview at some point, "I have the doll, I have film, I have recordings, I have eyewitness accounts of people who have seen this phenomena in and around the doll. But none of this evidence is public or on the actual case file. Why isn't this evidence included in the actual case file?" There was an author who wrote a book called A Dark Place, and the author Ray Garton, while being interviewed about the Warrens, he stated that the Warrens repeatedly told me that they have a videotape of the actual supernatural activity shot in the house and they were going to show it to me, but they never did. They said they couldn't find the tape. How convenient that they have all this evidence, but they can't find the tape. So the Warrens, they claim that the spirit manipulated the doll and created the illusion of being alive in order to get recognition. Truly, the spirit was not looking to stay attached to the doll. It was looking to possess the human host. But seeing as they automatically and immediately were like demon, instead of actually investigating the doll and to see if this haunted doll spirit is actually a little girl or a demon, they were just straight up, nah, it's a demon and it's going to possess people. Did they ask the doll? Did they ask the doll, what is your intention? Do you want to possess people? Do you want to just chill and live in peace and be loved and comforted like a little girl and treated like a little girl? Or like they were like, nah, evil, demon. Father Cook cleansed the apartment and he cleansed the doll, and the Warrens took the big rag doll along with them when they left. So I do also want to point out that this is a picture on the actual website, in the actual case file, implying that this little girl is the spirit of Annabelle Higgins that the original medium picked up on the spirit inhabiting the doll. Why would the Warrens put this picture of, supposedly saying that this is the real little girl of Annabelle Higgins, but then later on say that the doll is a demon? It doesn't make any sense and it's very contradictory. Also, I do want to point out that historically and literally there is actually a real Annabelle Higgins from Connecticut. However, there is a major age difference as well as discrepancies on locations of death and other details, if I can find my notes. The Connecticut Vital Records Index of Deaths for 1897 through 2001 says there is a real Annabelle Higgins, and her death was dated March 1935 and died in adulthood in her late 1950s, and she died in a hospital, whereas the spirit of Annabelle Higgins, the child, died around age 7 around the apartment complex in East Hartford, Connecticut, where these 3 roommates resided. Historically, there is a real Annabelle Higgins, but it doesn't quite match up with the story. So Ed and Lorraine Warren, they take the doll and they are leaving the apartment, and they just casually just plop the doll in the back seat. They don't know for sure if the doll is still haunted by the spirits, but they were like, we're taking the doll now, and plop. So why didn't the Warrens take any precautions if they feel that this doll is so dangerous and demonic? Did they bless the doll before getting into the car? Did they put it in a special case when they put it in the car? Did they sprinkle some salt around it or anything? No, they didn't. His suspicions were all correct in no time, and so the Warrens felt themselves as the object of a vicious attack. Then each dangerous curve, the car swerved and stalled with every corner, causing the power steering and brakes to fail. Repeatedly, the car verged on collision, and Ed reached into the back seat, into his black bag, and took out a vial of holy water and doused the doll, making the sign of the cross over it. The disturbances stopped immediately, and the Warrens arrived home safe. I have a lot of commentary on this part. I did some research, and cars back in the 70s were not as safe as cars in the 1990s or today even. Back in the 70s, crashes were 2 times more likely than in the 1990s, and 2 to 3 more times more fatal crashes per mile. So cars in this 1970s lacked many safety features, making crashes more deadly and crashes more common in general. Cars were harder to control and easier to lose traction, causing less protection and visibility. So cars back then easily lost control on wet roads and sudden swerves and high-speed turns. So it makes sense that At each dangerous corner, the car swerved and stalled, causing power steering and brakes to fail. So, may not necessarily be the doll itself causing this. It might just because the cars back then in the 1970s really sucked. After the Warrens arrived home, Ed sat the doll in a chair next to his desk. The doll levitated a number of times in the beginning and then seemed to fall inert. I have questions and concerns about this. So they took a doll that's supposedly really evil. They plopped it in their car. The car supposedly was swerving all over the place because this demon doll in the back seat. They sprinkled it with holy water while they were driving. I can just imagine Ed driving in the back seat, and he was just, let's just pretend that this is holy water. He's just, driving on the interstate, and he's like, oh my god, the evil demon doll is causing mayhem and causing us to maybe like crash and die. And he was just like, and he's just like, it sounds ridiculous and it looks ridiculous. I tried to reenact it the best I can while looking cute, but I could just imagine me editing this video and deciding whether to keep that really cringy reenactment in this video. So they brought this evil doll home, knowing that it's demonically evil and can cause possession and mayhem and car crashes. They casually just plop it in the chair next to his desk, and during the ensuing weeks, they kept it. The doll began showing up in various rooms of the house, and when the Warrens were away and had the doll locked up in the outer office building, they would often return to find it sitting comfortably upstairs in Ed's easy chair when they opened the main front door. So one day they had a father named Jason Bradford, a Catholic exorcist, come to the house. And upon seeing the doll seated in the chair, he picked it up and said, "You're just a rag doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anybody." And at this point, Ed was like, "Nah, you can't taunt the doll. It's evil and stuff." So why is a father, a priest, an exorcist, who regularly, on the daily or whatever, deals with demons, and he just casually picks up a doll that's supposedly really demonic and evil, just chilling in the easy chair, just chilling watching TV with them, with their TV dinners in the evening, apparently, and was like, "You are just a doll. You can't hurt anybody." Why would he even risk that? On his way home, the priest supposedly got involved in a near-fatal accident, destroying his vehicle. This was supposedly many further events that the doll had caused in the upcoming years after that as well. The Warrens at this point built a special case for the Annabelle doll inside the Occult Museum, where she resides to this day. Then one day, a young motorcyclist with his girlfriend came into the museum, and the young man, after hearing Ed's account of the doll, defiantly went up and began to bang on the case, insisting that if the doll can put scratches on people, that he wanted to be also scratched. And Ed said to the young man, "Son, you need to leave. You need to get out of the freaking building because you're taunting the doll and that ain't okay, and the doll is going to attack you and you're gonna get it." So on the way home, the young man and his girlfriend were laughing and making fun of the doll when the young man lost control of his motorcycle and went head on into a tree, and he was killed instantly. I would like to point out that in this point of the video, Paranormal Teach, in her analysis of the Annabelle case file, she pointed out that a reporter was speaking with the Warrens, and she was trying to find evidence, actual evidence of this motorcycle accident. And the Warrens were like, "Okay, well, you need to come all the way to Connecticut to this one particular library in town, and they have, all the documents and recorded evidence of this." And so the reporter or investigator, whoever, flew all the way to Connecticut to this library, and she combed through documents and documents and documents and stuff and records, trying to find actual evidence of this motorcycle accident. DMV records, medical records, anything, and supposedly there was nothing. So it goes to show that, are the Warrens embellishing details? So I did find a really interesting evidence and quotes from a deleted post on Facebook, and this was originally posted by paranormal investigator Jimmy Petonito and later screenshotted by another paranormal investigator, since this was originally taken down. This last part of the quote was by the original owner of the doll, and actually the original owner of the doll, her name is Marguerite Tata. Apparently names were changed for the case file, I guess for protection. The original owners didn't want too much attention. So it's really interesting in that the original owner says in the quote, "I am the owner of Annabelle, so went through a lot. But after seeing that documentary and reading the chapter in their book about us and the events, I am now a little skeptical. Many things were changed, but I owe them a lot for getting the doll away from us." So the original doll owner, in a direct quote, said that she validly and totally believes that the Annabelle really did actually have a spirit within it, enough to cause a lot of chaos and commotion, that the Warrens did actually get involved. And it's really interesting that she did say that after reading the chapter in the book and the documentary, she was a little skeptical of the Warrens as many details were embellished and changed. I totally believe that there is an actual spirit within the haunted doll Annabelle, but I'm not totally convinced that it's actually a demon. So what do you guys think? Do you believe that the Annabelle doll really does inhabit an evil demon that can cause such chaos and danger and possess people? Or do you believe that Annabelle is actually a little girl who was in fact demonized by the Warrens for her narrative to be controlled? Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Please give a like, a comment, and thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye!